Hey, Darrin.
Oh, hey, Justin.
Welcome, everybody, and Darrin, to the Week 3 podcast, where Darrin and I sit down and we take turns talking about things that we like and enjoy, and it's completely random, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, because we're lazy.
Well, that and, what is rhyme and reason, really?
A hip-hop duo from the late 80s?
Oh, that would be a great name
Right.
for a hip-hop duo.
Right. Copyright Geek Cave Podcast, TM.
Yeah, that's us now. That's us.
So, like I said...
You've got, a poet and a philosopher walk into a bar.
Yes. And they start a dance battle, and they're equally matched, and we're getting way off topic.
Available now on the Xbox Connect.
Oh. Available on the Dreamcast, only if you're in Brazil.
Man, I can dream.
No, today we are talking about a cartoon character that is near and dear to my heart, Donald Fauntleroy Duck. Yes, his middle name is Fauntleroy.
I was going to ask, okay.
Yes. And for those of you at home, you can't see it, but I'm currently wearing a Donald Duck t-shirt, and I have a Donald Duck coffee mug that I'm drinking out of.
Well, I wondered what the middle initial of F could have possibly stood for other than, Donald effing Duck.
Well, that's his street name, but no, it's Fauntleroy. So, Donald, my two favorite animals are... Well, the top two are dogs and ducks. I also like red pandas, but that doesn't go with the alliteration.
Yeah.
I've always liked dogs and ducks. It's hard to keep ducks as pets, so I go with dogs. But I've always been drawn to, Donald and Daffy Duck, just because they're so different than the, quote, main characters.
Oh, yeah, they're completely, the opposite of Bugs and Mickey, respectively.
Exactly. Daffy is zany, and Donald is more, I've had it, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
When you're a kid, you like Daffy, but as an adult, you relate more to Donald.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to the nephews, and you have kids, and you're just like, oh... So, for those of you who don't know, Donald Duck is a Walt Disney character. He first appeared in 1934 in the short The Wise Little Hen. And he is depicted as an anthropomorphic white duck wearing a sailor's outfit with a little sailor's cap. And that has been effectively his look since 1934. He's been voiced by two people. There's been a couple of understudies, but two main people. Clarence Ducky Nash,
of course,
who created the voice. And then when he stepped down because of health reasons, Tony Anselmo stepped up. And the two so Tony was actually an animator with the Walt Disney Company and struck up a friendship with Clarence and actually got lessons on how to do the voice from Clarence. And so as time went on, they became friends, the voice got better, and when it was time for Clarence to step down, he chose Tony as his successor, and Tony has been the voice of Donald since, the mid-'80s. Donald is typically a very short-tempered individual. He's kind of selfish at times. He can be nice, but when he's had enough, he's had enough. And that tends to get him into, or sometimes out of, a lot of issues. And he has appeared in all manner of things. Movies, shorts, comic books, cartoon series, video games, you name it, he's been a part of it. He is actually registered as a member of the armed services, retired. So when World War II broke out, Donald actually was depicted in a lot of films, short films, where he joined the military and was, fighting in the war effort. The first one of those is Donald gets drafted. So, he goes through that whole process. Another famous wartime Donald short is In the Fuhrer's Face, where it's a dream Donald is having where he is a Nazi and all of that. He wakes up and he realizes it was a nightmare and he's all American again and, screw Hitler.
Unfortunately, that one's taken a little bit out of context by the internet nowadays.
This is true. Donald was never a Nazi. It was a nightmare he was having as propaganda to be more American. But Donald's efforts in the war to get recruitment up actually served him well because the U.S. military actually put in retirement paperwork for him. He retired as a buck sergeant or an E5 sergeant in the military. So he's the only comic book character or cartoon character, to my knowledge, to have an official military rank designated by the United States government.
Tell you, opportunity was missed. They could have said Duck Sergeant.
Well, yes, that's true. That is true.
He was working on propaganda and all that stuff.
And while he was part of the U.S. military, the Navy actually, Disney granted them the rights to use him as their mascot. So he sort of served in multiple branches of the government. And speaking of mascots, the University of Oregon, their mascot is the Fighting Duck. It is a mascot similarly designed to Donald Duck, and that is with an exclusive licensing agreement that they have with Disney.
It's legally distinct.
It is legally distinct, but they have paperwork in place with the Disney Corporation that allows them to be not quite as legally distinct. Because if you look at the costume that a person at Disney wears to be Donald Duck and the mascot outfit for University of Oregon, they are very similar. Donald is also one of he's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which a lot of fictional characters do. But he's one of the few to have his footprints in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater in cement.
Are they webbed?
Yes, they are webbed.
Okay.
They are webbed feet, and it's also with Clarence Nash, the first voice. So it's Donald's feet and Clarence's handprints, and at the top it's signed Donald Duck, and underneath he wrote his name. So it's a dual thing, but it's there. Not many other fictional characters have that claim.
I'm just expecting like 100 to 200 years from now, archaeologists being really confused. We found a fossil record. We're not sure what it is.
Also, fun fact, he was technically and temporarily hired, air quotes hired, as an employee of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. His name was put into a database as kind of a checks and balance system. It was intended to catch government payroll fraud. And it was picked as one of the 30 fictional names by the Government Accounting Office. And so he was used in that regard. Like I said, it was a temporary hire. So Donald has had a long, glorious career with the U.S. government.
Donald is a G-man.
Donald is a G-man for sure.
Wow.
So in addition to all of that, like I said, he's made appearances in theatrical movies such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, tons of Disney shorts which would air in theaters before movies and now just randomly wherever. TV series such as both versions of DuckTales, Quack Pack, which featured him and the nephews. He was also part of House of Mouse and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I mean, he's been on TV for generations. And he's also had comic books. And when I say comic books, I don't mean he's had a few comic books here in the States. I mean he's had comic books printed all over the world and are still being printed today.
Oh, yeah. So you've met my father-in-law.
Yes.
You know, Don.
Yeah.
Don's favorite cartoon character is Donald Duck. I think it's because of the name.
Probably.
But there was a period of time where he gave me a bunch of his old, it was mostly Western comics. He just wanted me to sell them and, you know, do something with them because, you know, he wasn't using them. In addition, there was a stack of Donald Duck comics from, like, you know, the 40s and 50s. I mean,
nice.
This is a character. If anyone knows Don, they know he does not care about cartoons in the least. But Donald Duck, that's the exception.
Well, yeah, it's Donald.
Yeah, so it's the kind of character that anyone can really relate to if they've ever had a bad day.
Exactly. But I mean, a lot of those publications are still continuing to this day, not just in the United States, but Australia, Argentina, most of South America, Canada, China, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Egypt, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Indonesia, Lithuania, Mexico, the Netherlands, the Philippines, Portugal, parts of Russia, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Turkey, the United Kingdom, Yugoslavia. Donald is renowned worldwide. And people just do not get tired of him.
Well, and if you want a real good encapsulation of that comic run, Carl Banks wrote Donald for decades. And that would be, when I worked for In Stock Trades, that was probably one of our most popular orders every month, was the Carl Banks collection.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I don't know if it's a Carl Banks one, but I have an old Donald Duck comic book that I reviewed once, eons ago on the podcast, the main podcast, not this one.
Go back and find it, folks.
Yeah, good luck. It was somewhere around the early 2000s. Have fun. mid to late 2000s, probably 2010 to 2012, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Is it around 2011, 2012? We've been doing this thing for a lot of years.
Forever, yes. So, I mean, he's just a cultural icon. And a lot of it has to do with not just his look and his temperament, but the voice. Donald's voice is unique among most cartoon characters in that it is very hard to do. Not everybody can do a Donald Duck. Any middle-aged white man can do Kermit the Frog. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. You know, it's in that range. You know, you want to do Bugs Bunny? What's up, Doc? But Donald Duck is really hard because it doesn't use your vocal cords. My dad can talk like Donald in an intelligible way where you understand some of the things he's saying. And that has pissed me off all my life because I have yet to master that. I can make the noise like Donald Duck.
So when he's really angry or something, it's just gibberish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't form those into words yet. And I've been working on it for years. On and off. Not if I dedicated myself wholeheartedly and let everything else in my life go by the wayside, I would master it. But unfortunately, I have movies to watch, games to play. Oh yeah, and a family.
Comics to read.
Comics to read, guitars to play. You know, I've got a to-do list.
Get back to work.
The beatings,
Oh, boy.
The beatings will continue until morale improves. Gosh, Mickey.
Goofy, I bailed you out once.
I'll do it again. If you have not seen that video on YouTube,
It's like Goofy's murder trial or something like
murder
that.
trial. It is. If you're an adult and a fan of Disney, and I stress an adult, but if you're an adult and a fan of Disney, go look it up because it's just the stupidest thing ever, and it's hysterical.
The voice work is really good.
The
too.
voice work is really good, yeah.
Much better than us.
Yeah. And I pride myself on doing voices, so that says something right there. But anyway, Donald Duck is just one of my absolute favorite characters of all time. I've even got I went out of my way one time to get a Donald Duck Lego minifigure to set in front of the Donald Duck Brickheads figure, and I've got it displayed down here in my little man cave area. I like Donald. I don't know what it is. I've always been attracted to sidekicks. Maybe it's because I've never felt like the main character, even in my own story. So I appreciate the sidekicks, the Luigis, the Donalds. Even though Donald is the main character in a lot of things, he is second to Mickey in whatever.
Second to Mickey, second to Scrooge, second to Goofy in some instances.
In some instances, yeah. But he's omnipresent. He is everywhere, and if you look hard enough, you can find traces of Donald out in the world just randomly.
He's the Dr. Pepper of characters.
Exactly.
It's not number one, but he's there.
He's there, and a lot of people like him. And those who do like him are very fervent about it.
That's true.
My dad is a huge Dr. Pepper fan, and I saw a shirt that said, "I will drop kick a child for a Dr. Pepper." That's kind of how I feel about Donald, yeah.
He's who I had in mind when I made the reference, actually.
So, there it is, folks. Just some tidbits about Donald Duck, one of my personal favorite cartoon characters of all time, and one that I hope you enjoy as well.
We all love Donald here.
Yes, we do. So, I think that makes it your turn for next time.
Yes, and it's going to be a sequel to The Last Time.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.